British women are the oldest mothers in the world. The average age of a woman starting a family here is 30. Now, to combat the increasing fertility problems that older mums sometimes face, the British Fertility Society is calling for every woman from the age of 25 to have a regular fertility MOT. This would advise them on how viable their eggs are and how many years of fertility a woman may have left. Do you think this is a good idea, Sherry?
Actually, I absolutely think it's a good idea. I really do, because, and I'll tell you why. For one, and I can only relate it to me, I didn't have my baby till I was 33. And if I'd have known at 25 that I was going to have the problems I had, I would have had her earlier.
How long did it take you to conceive?
It took me 8 years to have her, and even then I struggled. So when my daughter was born, not when she was born, when she was older, obviously, I said to her, if you want babies, have them very, very young. And get,
what if you're not with somebody that you love when you're very, very young?
Assuming. So, but what I'm saying is, get it done. Get it done while your body is good and strong and healthy. Don't wait. If you're not bothered, then don't have babies. I have friends who are not bothered and don't have children. But I'm just saying I knew she would. So get them done, because I waited too long. Then I had to, it took me 8 years, I struggled, it was hard, and then at my age, at 33, and then, that was very old, and I was considered, I think it's called a senile pregnancy or something ridiculous.
Geriatric.
Yeah, geriatric, I mean, even worse. And so I didn't have any more, and it's the biggest regret of my life that I never gave my daughter a sibling. It's the biggest regret, but I just thought it was... now, probably at 33, I probably would think it's actually an okay age to have a baby, but then it wasn't. So I think you should be checked to see how good your eggs are.
I think a lot of women leave it, don't they, because of careers now, Janet, and they're loving their work. It's not just considered a job.
And like you just said, no man, though, you know, nobody to produce it.
I mean, I didn't have Jack until I was 42.
Well, there you go.
And I think a lot of people might have assumed, oh, Ruth's a career girl.
But I think lots of women don't have children now, they just choose not to. And I was looking at the figures, and it's doubled. The number of women who don't have children has doubled since our mother's generation. So, you know, it was 1 in 9 didn't have children then. And it's 1 in 5 now, and certainly about half of my friends haven't got any children, and of the others, they've.
But is that by choice? You see, I think sometimes people assume that every woman wants a child.
Yes, I think it is by choice. I mean, I wasn't bothered. I just find it. I find this MOT thing a bit bizarre, because the National Health Service is running out of money, and last week they're talking about womb transplants. As it is, they fund IVF, which is very, very expensive.
Yeah, but maybe if they did this, they wouldn't have to
fund
IVF.
Well,
later
possibly
on.
there's that way of looking at it, but also we live in. We're such a me generation. It's all about us, what we want, when we want to have a baby, and whether we have a baby or not have a baby. And what I always think is the thousands and thousands of children in this country that are sitting in care, waiting for foster parents. The process of adoption in this country is so pitifully slow.
And that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's one of the problems.
I mean, it takes over a year to adopt a child now. It's just, and it's not getting any quicker, in spite of people saying it should.
But they're saying, there's experts, Colin, are saying that women are far too optimistic about their biological clock. So they just think,
they
that's
are,
fine, I'll leave it till till I'm ready. And they get to 32 or 5, and their body's going, sorry.
Yeah, well, I think they are, and I also think now that women are, you know, going out to work, rightly so, and they have their careers planned, and they're kind of planning out their life and thinking it's all going to flow the way they want it to. But you know what? I remember my sister, Linda, saying to me years and years and years ago, she was always desperate for children, and she was like, but it's not the right time, you know, I've got this contract and that contract, and I don't know how I'd be able to stop work, and because I'm the main earner. And I remember saying to her at the time, Linda, there's never a right time to have a child. There is never a right time. But what happens is you have that child and everything falls into place and you work around it. And you know what? She put it off and off and off. And the biggest regret of Linda's life is that she never got to have children. And so you know, maybe if this test had been around and they'd have said, well, look, you need to have it within that time frame, that might have forced her to have it sooner. But I agree with Janet in the respect that people go, well, if I can't have them at that age, I can go down the IVF route, or I can go down the donor sperm, or I can go down the donor egg.
Well, some women are freezing their eggs, aren't they? Some young women are freezing their eggs. And also, I think that young men need to be educated about fertility. We always talk about women's fertility, but as a young couple, you know, it's very easy for a man to say, oh, I'm not ready to have kids yet, because it doesn't seem there's the same fertility problem.
Well, then men that are infertile can feel very, very hard done by and feel that they've been dealt a really low blow. So we talk far too much about women being infertile without having a lot of sympathy for infertile men.
Yeah, no, I had a very good friend and her husband. It turned, they were trying, and it turned out it was her husband who was infertile, and ultimately, probably over 2.5 years, it did break up their marriage, very sadly, because, you know, at that point you can't really say, oh, don't worry, I didn't really want children, because he knew she did, and, you know, she knew, he knew, and it was one of those horribly unspoken things. But I just think, like Janet said, you know, you can't always have what you want when you want it, sadly, and the fact of life is women have babies, and, you know, I think young women, it's very hard, because if you're loving your career and you don't want to stop it, but you can't have it all. I don't think you can have it all.